So David Schwimmer stole our hearts as Ross on the iconic series Friends, but has since been taking on more serious roles, including playing Robert Kardashian in American Crime Story, The People vs. O.J. Simpson, which was awesome. And also with his latest project, That's Harassment. He's teamed up with Israeli-American writer-director Sigal Avin to make a series of short but very compelling films about sexual harassment. And the films are now being turned into a new PSA campaign, and David stars in one of them as a boss who harasses his subordinate. Watch.
It's the big responsibility.
Oh, it's huge. I know, it's huge.
And the salary.
Oh my god, yes.
Right?
I mean, like, I was about to move in with my parents, and right before, so this saved me.
I really believe in you, you know?
Thank you. It's nice to hear that from someone.
These are cool. Did you, what did you...
Please welcome David Schwimmer and Sigal Avin. So, that moment is so well played, I have to say, the way you play sort of this innocence. You know, like, I'm just here looking out for you, you're my assistant.
Right.
You know, thanks so much. And then before she knows it, your lips are on her.
Right.
And the awkwardness that you capture in the moments thereafter. What? Nothing happened. We're good. We're good. And then he wants a hug goodbye for sort of permission to move on.
Right, right.
This is personal for you. You've had this in your own family.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I grew up with countless stories of my mother as a young attorney in California, you know, being sexually harassed her whole career pretty much, as well as subject
She was one of 4 female graduates from, was it Brooklyn Law School?
Yeah,
back in the day?
From Brooklyn Law, yeah. And yeah, she, you know, she just grew up with it, and as well as, you know, sexism, even by judges and clients and other lawyers. But, you know, so it was something I was very familiar with. And then, of course, my sister and pretty much every friend and colleague and former girlfriend I've ever had has been a victim of sexual harassment, if not sexual assault. So it's just something that's, you know, I've always been concerned about, and I've also been an advocate for the last 20 years for child and adult victims of sexual assault. So when my friend Sigal reached out to me and said, hey, I've got these short films that I wrote that I want to produce and direct. Will you help me produce them?
You jumped at it.
I was like, yeah.
So Sigal, you did this in Israel back in November of 16. Is that?
Yeah, they launched December 2016.
Okay, and so that was before the whole Me Too movement had unfolded. Although I can tell you that, you know, we at Fox News were already well in the midst of our own Me Too movement at that time.
Right.
Yes, you were part of what I was reading back then that kind of sparked this.
Well,
I
thank
think.
you.
It was, yeah, it was happening all over the world. It was Trump and the things that came out, and then he was elected, and it was a former president in Israel who was, who had raped and then got out of jail very quickly, and there was just all these things going on, and women complaining, and nothing was happening.
Mm-hmm. The vignettes, whatever they're about 4 to 6 minutes long. Each has a different scenario. One is called the doctor, one is called the boss, one is called the photographer, and they're deeply jarring. I mean, they're jarring when you watch them, but that's what makes them so effective. And I read that you said your goal was to capture that moment when you feel the energy in the room shift. You do that. How? How did you do that on camera?
Thank you. I don't. It's hard to. I guess it's hard to. I mean, just like it's hard to explain. You know, while talking, it's hard. I guess.
It's a feeling.
Right. Yeah. And I think part of what you said about David being really nice and playing the boss, that was very important with all the men playing in all the films, that they're not monsters, they're not mean.
They're not like jumping out of bushes
Right.
and grabbing you.
They're just like really nice, good
They're good
guys.
looking.
They're
Right.
good looking. Makes it almost confusing. You don't even realize, did that really happen?
Right.
Or is it?
Right.
And-
Sexual harassment is really about power. And that's, you know, it happens in the workplace between two people usually who have where there's a tremendous imbalance of power.
It's a symptom of the power imbalance that exists on a greater cultural level. I mean, it's just one of the many symptoms that exists as a result of the power imbalance. I have to ask you, because so few men want to have this conversation because they get killed. They get killed when they try to talk about it, right? Do you have any fear in being the guy who does it?
I don't. But look, I certainly understand why right now in the current climate men are reluctant to come forward and speak, which is a shame because nothing's going to be accomplished without dialogue. Part of our goal is to really try to bring men into the conversation. It's tough though if there's any slight kind of misstep when someone's talking about it.
I don't want to mention any names, but Matt Damon.
Anyone. It's taken either out of context or it's really unfair to completely condemn someone for trying to articulate how they feel.
I know.
So.
I felt for Matt Damon, I have to tell you, because he was trying to make a point about proportionality. And some people believe that point cannot be made. I disagree. You can make that point. And Sharon Stone's getting it right now for saying the same thing, that there are felonies and there are misdemeanors, and let's not treat them all the same.
But
it's not to excuse the misdemeanors. It's just to remember proportionality.
And as far as I'm concerned, okay, sorry.
Yeah, hold that thought. Good tease on the opposite side. And also whether there's going to be a Friends reunion. And we're back now with David Schwimmer and writer-director Sigal Avin, who have teamed up to make a series of short films about sexual harassment. Sigal actually told her own story of sexual harassment in one of the films, the moment she says a well-known actor exposed himself to her. Watch this.
Wait a second. Just take a look at him. Just take a little look.
Bob!
Seriously, I just want to know if you think he's attractive or not. Just have a little look.
What are you doing?
Don't you realize that I'm attracted to you?
Okay.
Look, I know you don't think a lot of yourself, but I think you are an incredibly sexy woman. You totally turn me on. So just have a look and tell me if you think you guys might want to be friends.
I know. Isn't that so disturbing? And this happened to you. This happened to you personally.
I wasn't a costume dresser. I was a young playwright. And I had come to a famous comic actor to talk about a play that I wrote. This was like about 18 years ago. And it was a wonderful talk. He was really nice. We were drinking coffee. I went to the restroom for a second. And when I came back, everything was the same. It was almost like, where's Waldo? Is that you almost had to, you could almost miss it. But because he was drinking the coffee, but the bunny was out of the pat, and he just said, the same. I used the same text in the movie, which are, look who came to say hello, and
I feel like that moment is so telling because at first you see her nervous laughter, and I have been guilty of nervous laughter myself in uncomfortable situations like that. And I think one thing women don't realize is men perceive laughter as a yes. Men perceive laughter as a yes, and so we use it as a tool to sort of cut the tension in an awkward moment, but it's not necessarily our friend, laughter, and so it's just a warning to young women. And then there's one about a doctor sexually assaulting a woman who comes to visit him. That's personal for you as well.
No, that's my friend who yes, the actress who did that in Israel, it's her story. Yeah, El Sharoney.
And then in these vignettes, it's played by Cynthia Nixon, that particular role. So what do you hope to do? Because originally these were made a year ago, but now you've produced the American version. What do you hope to do with them?
Yeah, so we produced these 6 short films, and now we've also cut them down to 30-second PSAs and 10-second and 20-second. And actually, as of today, New York City has put them in all taxi TVs, so which is great. We partnered with a lot of networks, so they're going to be broadcast. As of this past Friday, they're being broadcast as PSAs on many networks. So they're available online, on television.
And employers are now using these.
Yeah, and the great thing that we've also created, we partnered with the NWLC, the National Women's Law Center, and we have created this amazing kind of digital toolkit. So for anyone watching right now, just if you go to the website nwlc.org/that'sharassment. Or your employer, or if you're a CEO watching or an employer yourself.
If you are a harasser, we have the tool to help you.
Download this. It's 10 easy steps you can take to help prevent harassment at the workplace.
That's great.
And
so
just go to the
necessary, 'cause
website.
this gets to the heart of it in a way that I haven't seen in another product yet, because we don't.
Thank
The way forward isn't very clear right now.
Right.
Yeah, please forgive me. I have to ask you.
Uh-oh.
Is it going to we've had Will and Grace come back. We've had Roseanne come back.
Where's this going?
Like, is there any chance? Any chance?
The OJ thing?
We love the OJ movie. Asking for a friend. Is there any chance that Friends is coming back?
Look, oh man, the thing is, I just don't know if I want to see all of us with like crutches, like walkers. I doubt.
I do.
I really doubt.
You doubt it?
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
sad.
But thank you for asking,
Wow.
and moving on. So
And pivot. Now it's time to pivot.
That's it.
Thank you guys so much.
Thank you.
All
Thanks
the
for
best.
having me.
Well said. And you will be able to see more of the That's Harassment scenes in a PSA campaign, again, created by the Ad Council, the Rape, Abuse, and Incest National Network, and the National Women's Law Center. To read more about David and Sigal, you can go to today.com/Megyn Today. We'll be right back.
Hello, Today fans. Thanks for checking out our YouTube channel. Subscribe by clicking that button down there and click on any of the videos over here to watch the latest interviews, show highlights, and digital exclusives.